Okay, thank you everyone for joining. I do see a few familiar names in the participant list, so that's always a confidence booster. Yeah, my name is Vishal, and the topic that I'm discussing today is business goals in the new normal. If you have a question, is the QR code scannable? Yes, it is. So if you bring out your cell phones and just scan the code, you will be able to connect with me. Otherwise, you still have my credentials. So enterprise joy, yes, that's my latest hobby, I would say. So you can go on the website, check it out, do give me feedback, or you can connect with me on social media through my handle Vishal Prasad IN. So since we are on this topic about business goals in the new normal, uh, let's start off with the first thing. This is what I feel. I'm pretty much okay if you feel otherwise, and do tell me in the chat if you do feel otherwise. But what I feel is no one really knows what the new normal is going to be. I don't even know if the new normal is here already. I mean, I'm still confused if I'm working from home or I'm living at work. That's still a big question. But no one really knows what this new normal is. We are still trying to figure it out, which also means that it can be anything that you want. It pretty much depends on you. So a few days back, when we started the Telegram group, someone asked, do we need to change the business goals, or do the business goals really change in this new normal? The answer really is I do not know. What I have over here in this presentation is a set of possibilities with regards to businesses, products, people, and so on. So, what I'm providing is different things that may happen in this new normal, and then you have pretty much what I call it is a choice problem. You have a number of things that you can or cannot do. It's pretty much a choice problem. And I have an example for you. So here's, since we are on remote, the text is a little small, but I hope this will be readable. Let's say that this is one scenario. It says scenario A. It reads, we should take a pledge that we will work 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, as against 40 hours a week for the next 2 to 3 years, so that we can fast track and grow the economy much faster. Indians are not the most disciplined bunch when it comes to working from home. The need of the hour is to improve productivity. While it is great idea to say that we'll all work from home unless there is a clear productivity standard that we have defined, unless every one of us is asked to achieve that productivity standard, work from home will not work. So first, let every industry, finance, information technology, etc., define productivity standards for work from home. And once this is defined for each designation, then you can work from anywhere you want. This possibility was presented by Narayan Murthy a few days back. Let's look at a second scenario that I have, a second possibility. It says the coronavirus crisis has triggered a surge in digitalization. We have always had mobile working, but now we are taking it a step further. The basis of this forward looking working model is further development of our corporate culture. These changes will be associated with a different leadership style, one that focuses on outcomes rather than on time spent at the office. We trust our employees and empower them to shape their work themselves so that they can achieve the best possible results. With the new way of working, we are motivating our employees while improving the company's performance capabilities and sharpening our profile as a flexible and attractive employer. This was provided by Roland Bush, CEO of Siemens, just a few days back. And this is where I say it's a choice problem, because you have two biggies in the world now, Infosys and Siemens, who are still pretty much surviving this crisis. But you have the leadership with completely different messages. That need not mean that the way the companies are going to operate are different, but still the messages that come out are different. You may still have people in Siemens who may end up working 60 hours a day, but it doesn't seem like the leaders want to. If the people want to, that's their choice. Whereas the other one is more of directing that, hey, this is what we're supposed to do. And that's where it's a choice. So if you have a choice between A and B, the question I have for you is, which one will you prefer? This is for you to evaluate. And the thing that I'm going to basically provide for the next few slides is it can also be something that we have not thought of yet. So when I look at the goals, the possible goals for this new normal, I try to compare this against three possible aspects. There is the new normal for businesses, there is the new normal for products, and then the new normal for people in general, people in the organization. And these are three things which I take you through in the next 15 minutes. So let's look at the first one, which we say possible goals for the new normal businesses. And I have three possibilities. Let's consider the first one. It says we have to be the best, we have to beat the competition. There will be businesses who will definitely come out of this crisis with this ideology. In fact, this has happened before. If you consider when the demonetization happened, okay, there were a lot of digital payment models that came up, and they have still continued to flourish. Things like BHIM and Paytm have been around, and people are using it more and more each and every day. And these are the kind of businesses which basically come up with the intention of, hey, this is a crisis, but we are going to come out of this as the best, be it a monopoly or not. We already have a lot of things which are going on from a lot of the biggies in India, for example. Let's say Geo, with the number of stuff that they are coming out with regards to Geo Meet and Geo Chat. There was a Geo Glass. So they are there. They are there to beat the competition and be the best. That is still a possibility in the new normal. What we do have to see is what that possibility is. We will come to the product section in a while, but this is more from a business standpoint. What does the business see itself? There is a second aspect of the business that says we have to get back to our existing standards. The first statement, that the first scenario that I presented from Nara and Murthy, that pretty much talks about, hey, we have to get back to where we were because we have been shaken because of this crisis. And that would mean that we have to go back and be as compliant as possible to our older ways. It is ironic that I've already started calling it older ways. It's not been many months. But that is what it is. We are in a state where if we want to get back to where we were, there will be certain companies who want to be there, especially the ones who may be struggling with their survival at this point of time. So there can be a business goal which simply suggests this is where we want to get back to. And then there is the third aspect, which will say we have to listen and care for people. In fact, I was a little surprised when I heard Ratan Tata's interview just a few days back on True Story, where he spoke about the people who gave their sweat and blood for your organization. You cannot leave them out on the streets when there's a crisis. And it is, I haven't really seen a lot of Indian organizations make this kind of statements before. It's not to say that the culture of TCS or Tata in general is very different from a lot of other organizations, but that aspect that was presented really showed that there's still this section that is listening and caring for people. And there will be a few businesses who will have goals which will be very specific to this area. And when I talk about these three possibilities of business goals, we are basically doing is defining a new culture for the organization. In fact, these three statements that you see over here, they can be linked back to the Schneider's cultural model. The first one that you have in yellow is basically a competitive kind of a culture where people are competing to be the best. You have the best in the organization and you have the best in the industry. The second one, the orange one, is more controlling in nature. And there are still organizations that do need this. And then the third one is cultivation, where you're believing in people and you're believing in possibilities that these people can create for you. So, yeah, this is what defines the culture. And maybe the new normal means that your business's culture has to change. That is the new goal. Because unless that happens, the business may not survive. So maybe if the goals were different in the past, this is where the businesses go in the future. But then there is the second aspect which talks about the products. So there are some possible goals for new normal products. And in the era of digital products, there are a number of businesses that simply rely on products for survival. So there is a part of the product that says our product brings stuff closer to consumers. And now, the moment I say this, maybe the first thing that comes to our mind is there are products that deliver food, Swiggy and Zomato, for example. Or there are products that help us with shopping. So you have Amazon and Flipkart. During the lockdown, there were so many orders which were pending, but the moment the lockdown got over, they were swarmed with all of their orders and they did deliver. The other things that come closer to us at this point of time, which we require, are medicines. There are a number of products that actually deliver medicines, which is pretty much nice in this time of crisis because a lot of the medical shops don't have these medicines available. But this is not enough. When we say stuff, stuff is a very generic word. Stuff can also mean education, where we have online schools now. We have teachers who are teaching people on Zoom and on Teams and on Slack and don't know how many of these different products. This is also stuff. It's just education, just information in general. So products that propagate information will probably flourish because information is also looking at COVID stats every day. And that is something that people have got used to. The second type of product that you can have is the products that bring people together or folks closer to consumers. Let's take this webinar, for example. We have Zoom as a platform because of which we can reach out to people. But when I say bringing folks closer, it's not just the friends and family and colleagues, it's also opportunities. In this current era, since everyone is at home, at least the people who can work from home, the amount of opportunities increase. You can now be employed with an organization in Germany, even if you live in India, for example. And these are the kind of opportunities that can possibly change things because now you, at least the recruiters, have access to the skill set in a much wider scope, which was not possible before. So products that help that may flourish. And then you have the third type of product, which is the product that brings joy closer to consumers. And the moment I say joy, the first thing that might come into our mind is entertainment. Netflix and Amazon and Hotstar, Disney, everything that we have. But that's not everything that joy suggests. I mean, for me, joy was that I simply started a new podcast for myself. I enjoy it. I can do it by myself and I can reach out to people who I was not able to reach out before. But then joy also means getting access to insurance easily, getting access to loans easily. You don't need to go out and meet people. You should be able to do this online probably. Or this may also mean just simple healthcare services that consumers can get as easily as possible. And that will be one kind of product that brings joy closer to consumers. And when we consider these, this is what defines the purpose of a product. And even though the purpose of a product in the past may have been in a different consumer sector or in a different way of working, with this new normal, things may change. Like we spoke about, where recruiters may want to reach out to new skill set, maybe initially the products were more localized, where these products were just searching for skill set within a particular geographic area, which now expands. So your purpose basically changes. And that's a possible goal for a new product in the new normal. And then finally, we come to the people. And there are a set of people who really want to succeed and they wouldn't waste time doing something unless they are sure that they are going to succeed doing it. I think that is a good way to think about it because I don't want to waste time on doing the wrong things. So if I am, let's say, if I would have to create a competitor for WhatsApp today, I wouldn't waste time building something that does not even fulfill the minimum requirements of WhatsApp. But this would have been different in the past when WhatsApp was competing against SMS because the amount of requirements between them was pretty much less with the overlap. So yeah, why should I even waste time if I'm not going to succeed? This, however, was different for me because when, let's say, when I started my podcast, I wasn't looking to succeed. I probably know that it'll take me a long time before I can even get a stable audience, which is pretty much the second type of people. I'll do it because if they can succeed, so can I. And a very general way of looking at this would be the strugglers you see in Bollywood, for example. There are so many people who want to be a part of Bollywood, but not everyone makes it big. And that's just one of the examples of people who will try doing things. Success is secondary. And this may also come in our organizations. So today, if I'm a business analyst, I would want to be a, let's say, a product manager tomorrow, or I would want to be a store owner tomorrow, or I would just want to be a musician, and I can leave everything aside and go back and do something that I love much more than, let's say, my regular work. And then you have the third type of people, which basically say, I may fail, but I can help others succeed. Take teachers, for example. Not every teacher is going to become a CEO of an organization, but they can teach people who can be CEOs of organizations. Or you have coaches. Coaches don't inherently succeed by themselves unless they see someone else succeed who they have coached. The other things that you can think of is someone's helping an NGO or helping a healthcare support system. And these are just volunteers who may not succeed by themselves, but they are happy to help others if they can succeed. And this pretty much is what defines the mindset. And if you want to consider what mindset is, what culture is to an organization, a mindset is to a single individual. And these three things, what I have on the screen, is actually defined as: the yellow one is the fixed mindset, the orange one is the growth mindset, and the blue one is very new and got popularity during the COVID times, which is the benefits mindset, benefiting someone else. That's obviously the benefit mindset can only happen if you have the growth mindset, so they are interrelated, but that's still a step further. So this can be a possible new you. Maybe in the past you had a fixed mindset, but this situation has made you change your mindset to a growth mindset. And that's perfectly fine. That will be a new you in the new normal. So when I consider these three possibilities in business, in product, and individual, I come back to the same slide. It's pretty much a choice problem. And as long as you can decide what's your choice, you have a goal for yourself, for your business, and your product in the new normal. That's all that I had for today. Thank you.